Hey, Jason.
Hey, Christy.
And welcome back, everyone, to Business Between the Lines.
We are back with our Between the Seasons mini-series where we recap some amazing moments and mic drop moments from season 1 of the show as we gear up and get ready for season 2 of Business Between the Lines coming in early November.
So today we're going to share with you Matt Morse from the Sweat Shak. He was episode 17, and he drops a couple mic drop moments in there, some very teachable moments about, again, we've had some other episodes about thinking outside the box, but he really took it to a whole nother level, and he shares some secret sauce with us.
He did. So he has a journey of wanting to do something that is unlike what most people do. And the way that he figured out the way to do that was really, really cool. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this episode with Matt Morse.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Christy. Hey, Matt.
Hey.
So, guys, today we have Matt Morse with the Sweat Shak coming with us with a sweet swag to talk about your life and the pro tips that you have, things that you've done to grow the Sweat Shak to a pretty significant size, pretty significant membership over a pretty small amount of time.
Sure.
And the amount of member loyalty that you have, and the staff loyalty that you have.
Right.
Everybody wants to have good customers, and especially now, everybody wants to have really good employees. So, what's your secret sauce?
So I think the secret sauce is just, to be humble and to be teachable and coachable. I say that because, I'm actually not the pro. I'm actually, the person that gets mentored the most, right? And
Okay.
I mean that genuinely.
Okay.
And owns it. I
Well,
love
and
that.
so my wife, Ashley and Eric Stoltz, Ashley Stoltz, and my wife, they actually own the business. I just basically help operate it. I'm the lead volunteer, as I say. So ultimately, I think the biggest part of being a business owner, right, is being coachable, being teachable.
Oh, that's so
As
huge.
soon as you think you know everything,
in
that's when
trouble.
the sledgehammer comes over your head, and that humble pie. That humble pie has never been so sweet. That's what happens. So I honestly think that one of the biggest things about just in any business, right, in any town, in any community, right, is just going this, I always call it the ignorant tax.
Okay.
Right? Think about it this
tax.
way. Either you know or you don't know. And if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a thing. So I say this because, whenever you went into your industry, right, you tapped into other friends and other people.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, hey, man, I'm really, really inspired by what you do. I would love to be able to be on your level, 50 years from now. What are some of the biggest things that maybe you had problems with? Because if you don't ask that question, you're going to pay the ignorant tax. You may as well ask that question to somebody who's crossed that bridge already, who's already had those
Learn
problems.
from somebody else's mistakes.
Or pay the ignorant tax and be ready and willing because it's coming, right?
Yeah.
It is going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I say this because in a prior business, my ignorant tax was $65,000
Yeah.
out of my cash money, out of my own bank account. And I was like,
Hard lesson learned.
okay, I still can't breathe. And then, and at that point, that was that humble pie I talked about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it is find somebody that's already paid the ignorant tax.
And don't
Or-
be afraid to ask those questions.
Or,
Yeah.
and then they, I can tell you right now, if somebody were to call me or DM me, right, and say, hey, Matt, I'm about to do this. Do you think that'd help them?
Yes.
I would.
100%.
Right.
Why? 'Cause
Number of times I've sat on the phone with
Somebody
you
helped you.
for
Somebody
an
has helped
hour
me.
asking questions, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh well, this is that one thing I did wrong. This is one thing I did
Yeah.
wrong."
That's
You
my
taught me
favorite
so
thing.
much.
Pay
Yeah.
it forward. You
Yeah.
learn from somebody else. It's time to pay that tax forward.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that the last conversation you're going to have was talk about lead generation.
Yeah.
And there's amazing softwares out there,
Right.
right? And some people don't know about it.
Yeah.
So what do? They go on Instagram, follow somebody, they unfollow them, and then hope and pray that they follow them back and it sticks.
Yeah.
That's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But had I not known that, had I not paid that ignorant tax or asked somebody that had already paid that ignorant tax, then I would never know.
Yeah.
So now I know. That's just
huge.
me.
That's huge. So then, how do people know how to find those people? How do you find a good mentor?
Yeah,
Does it
'cause
have to be
Yeah.
somebody in your industry? Does it
Yeah,
have
we've
to,
had this in a previous
Yeah.
show, and we said exercise caution because there's a lot of people that put it out there and they
Yeah.
say, I need help with this. And then everybody jumps on the advice bandwagon. They want to
Sure.
give their 2 cents and stuff. And it's like, some of that stuff you're being fed isn't always what you should
Sure.
be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. It's like, hey, how do you vet
Right.
the information,
That
right?
you're
And so,
getting.
like for me personally, I looked at, okay, hey, I have a boutique fitness facility, the Sweat Shak, right? Panama City didn't really have any of those.
Right.
Didn't. So I kind of went into this blindly, not really knowing kind of what we were doing, right? And
Right.
so what I did was I went and went to St. Augustine. I went to,
Search outside.
Pensacola.
Yeah.
And I found those boutique fitness facilities. I'm like, man, it'd be awesome to have a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, kind of like a little Stromboli option, right?
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
what I want. And so I picked all the best options from all different things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to find out who the owner of that business is or whoever does their marketing. Or like, let's just, as an example, there's a local brewery that does phenomenal on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, if I can kind of go into who I think that is, but regardless, there is one. If it were me personally, and I said, you know what, I need help in marketing.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same industry like you referred to earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Me personally, it's like, hey, that person's really good. They got really good social proof. Who does their marketing?
Right.
Maybe I can learn from them. Maybe
Yeah.
I can see like what hurdles did you face when you were trying to
So,
figure out what kind of things
I
to do.
did that when we did the A team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a seminar and I was teaching about business